All right, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Rob Skate TV, and I'm in here explaining my MX650 by Razor, fully modded by yours truly, all by hand, full bolt-on kit. Besides your norm, the only difference that you'll notice with my MX650 is that it sits a little bit bigger because we're rocking 14s in the front and 14s in the rear with some Sumos. So if you're tired of your little Razor that's sitting on little 10-inch rims that are just not going to get it done because it's too low to the ground and it continues to look more like a children's toy, and 12s that are kind of bigger but they're not as big, then you want to step up to some 14s. I'm going to let you know how you can mod your 14s as well. And a lot of people have been requesting videos like, Rob, like, where's the full video at? I got like a 4-part short on YouTube, and I'd rather just drop it in one video explaining everything in about 10 minutes if I can get through this. So this is like my 5th take after being interrupted and kind of messing up. So hopefully I can get it right this time. So let's break it down. Anyways, so starting off with the powertrain, to go over it real quick, everybody should know these powertrains. You have your Electron & Co. EC4P Ultimate Kit that runs about $700 or $800. If you are building your Razor and you do want it to go fast, you know, from 40 to 60, depending on how you do it, weight distribution and your battery, the EC4P kit by Electron & Co., you cannot go wrong. It is an easy kit to bolt on, plug and play, instructions. Everybody's done it. I don't even really have to go over that. If you are more on a budget and you want to do something cheaper, Kunray off Amazon does drop a kit. You could just type in MX650 on Amazon Kunray and you'll see, I believe it's their KRV kit. It's like a 5,000 watt kit similar to this. And I believe they also run a 35 chain. And that's going to be very important as I break down how to run bigger tires. So with this right now, I've noticed that I've gone about like 55. I'm just coming off ankle surgery, so walking and moving around hasn't been the greatest. That's why there's not a lot of videos of me riding. I've ridden before, but once I get my helmet and GoPro, I'll drop a little more videos so you can see how it is with me riding it. But enough about that. Let's go on to the next thing. We're talking about our 14s here. I'm running a 14 in the rear and a 14 in the front. The sizes are a lot bigger too, so I'm running as big as you can go safely. And I put them on myself. Not that bad once you get like a little tire install kit. If you can't do it yourself, hopefully a bike shop can do it. It's really not that hard once you learn how to do it yourself. But I'm running a 90-90-14 Michelin tire in the front, and I'm running a 120-80-14 here in the rear. According to Google, that was the biggest that you could go, and I want the biggest tire in the rear for the most stability as I'm cruising around. Because on the dirt bike tires that I had before, doing about 40 felt good, but it feels a little sketchy, honestly, with like dirt tires. With these Sumos, I feel great. Going at 40, I'm just cruising, like it's like night and day. Next, I have a swing arm extensions, 4-inch swing arm extensions here in the rear. They're by an eBay seller called Closeout 1000. I will try to put all the links in the description. That way you can just click and buy so you can do it yourself. The difference between Closeout 1000 swing arms and, like, let's say Electron & Co. and Ride or Die, I needed about a 4-inch to 5-inch extension in the rear to be able to fit a big enough tire back here while having a big enough clearance in between the motor. So the Electron & Co. swing arm extension is about like a 2 to 3-inch extension. So that can take you from your 10-inch tire to your 12s. I don't think you can run a 14 because the clearance is pretty close. They have a big wheel kit going on right now with Electron & Co. So you can rock a 14-12 instead of your standard tires. And that's a lot better too. But that just shows that the extensions don't go as far. So if you want a maximum tire, like you even want to go bigger than what I have, which isn't even recommended, you can run a 15, a 16 on here. And the only reason why I say that is because people want Solarias, people want Surons. And the reason why they want that is because the tires are so big, and also the seat to peg height is a lot better for adults that are like 6 foot tall, you know, 5'11". I'm only 5'8", but with these bigger tires and these drop pegs that I have that I'll get into, it's like night and day. I feel like I'm on a whole different bike, and it's just great. Like, I don't even need to consider trading, getting anything bigger. Like, this right here is how an MX650 for an adult, in my opinion, is supposed to ride. So next we got Closeout 1000 4-inch swing arm extensions to fit the 14. Next we got the Closeout 1000 from eBay, triple tree clamps going on here, matched with 630 mil front pit bike suspension that you can find on Amazon. I just type in 630 millimeter front suspension for pit bikes. They'll pop up, very cheap. Pros and cons: suspension way better than the factory suspension from Razor, because that was just like a joke. These feel great. Very soft. I might upgrade these to better suspension that was just dropped through Electron & Co. for the RTR. I might give those a try, because these probably would, or those would hit a lot better than these as far as like suspension travel and how soft these are. But they feel great. Next, they're paired with a 2-piston front pit bike brake with 190 millimeter rotor. You can find these on Amazon. Just type in pit bike front brakes. You'll find them. They're like 20 bucks. They bolt run on, no problem. So those are great. Stopping power is great. Like 40 miles an hour, 50, I hit the brakes. I'm feeling pretty good stopping power. Although I might upgrade again, but out of the box, still good stopping power. Although I might need to double down and bleed the brakes and see if I get better stopping power. Next from that, we move over to the rear. The rear brakes are some of the most important part. So when you're running a pit bike rim in the front and a pit bike rim in the rear, you need to run pit bike brakes to be able to fit the rotor, as opposed to the stars that you have on here. Like you have like the 6-star on these ones that are not going to be able to run like standard pit bike stuff, as far as the 4-lug pattern that you have on the pit bikes. So you're going to run a pit bike 14 front, pit bike front brakes, and pit bike 630 millimeter suspension, paired with the Closeout 1000 triple tree clamp, and everything will mesh together. It'll just fall into place. Like it fits like a glove. So once you get that, the front is done, but you want to move over to the rear. That's a little bit more complex. It's like, Rob, how did you get your rear brakes to work? Okay, so pit bike rear brakes, pretty standard on Amazon. There you go. You could do that, but I wouldn't do that because I had to go through Ride or Die's Mx650 pit bike rear brake setup. Why did I have to do the Ride or Die pit bike rear brakes? Was because of the bracket that it comes with. This bracket lines up with your standard Mx650 rear swing arm extensions. So the problem with regular pit bike brakes is the bracket won't line up with an extension like this, or even the standard layout of the Mx650 rears. So get the Ride or Die rear pit bike upgrade kit for the Mx650, and that will bolt perfectly with your rear swing arm extension kit that you can get from Ride or Die, Electron & Co., or like me from Closeout 1000. They'll bolt together. The only problem that I needed to do was my rear rotor. The rear rotors usually come standard with, I think, 190 millimeter rotor. So let me go grab a 190 real quick, because I have so many parts. Hopefully all of my failures will be your success, so you won't have to do this more than once like me. This is your standard rear rotor. This rotor is too big, and it actually hits the sliding pins on the rear brake. So I noticed the maximum clearance that I can actually get, I had to go with a 180 millimeter rear rotor. So when I put the regular 190 on there, it hit the pins. I was gonna buy a 185, but I decided to go with 180 because I believe that's what the Ride or Die came with, was 180 millimeter rear rotor. So I bought a pit bike 180 millimeter rear brake from eBay because Amazon doesn't sell 180s, and it fit perfectly. It doesn't hit, and it's all good to go. You just have to make sure to line up your clearances with the bolts so it'll actually be able to fit without hitting anything. So that covered the rear brake. So just to go over it again, to reiterate, Ride or Die Mx650 rear brake kit paired with the pit bike 180 millimeter rear rotor, and you're good to go on your rear brakes. And I just routed everything like that, and it's all good to go. Kickstand. A lot of people ask me kickstand. Like, dude, that's a cool kickstand. Yeah, it's just your generic kickstand off Amazon. You can type in pit bike kickstand. These are the same kickstands that you can find on your Totios. your Tutio Soleils, they all have this same kickstand. It's a generic kickstand. I bolted it on there. It took a little finicky kind of bolting and washering to get it to go on there perfectly, but now it stays up perfect. It's nice. It matches the aesthetic. People like it. There you go. All right, moving next here to the drop pegs. Very important. Probably the most important mod for any adult is the drop pegs. The standard peg location to seat height is too small. I mean, it is made for like somebody that's 4 foot, maybe somebody that just got into the 5 foot. For a young teen or a child. For an adult riding this bike, it is not comfortable not having drop pegs because your knees sit too high. I got these drop pegs like night and day. I love riding now. I can ride, I feel comfortable. Before, my knees would sit too high and it just wasn't very comfortable. So, biggest investment that I would do are these drop pegs. I can't pronounce the guy's website. It's got like a weird website or whatever like that. I'll put the link in the description. They come with the drop peg extension along with the pegs. Not very expensive. I think they're like $80, but $80 for the mod to be able to feel is like night and day. So you have enough clearance now. For me, I'm like 5'7", 5'8". To somebody that's like 6 foot, your knees and your legs will really love this purchase here. So that's that with the drop pegs. I'll put that in the description. Next up, I put the plastics back on. So when I'm doing the EC4P kit, I have everything mounted pretty perfectly. I could not get the bolts back on. What I did was did zip ties. I just did zip ties. Zip ties all the way around. I had to cut the clearance to be able to fit the controller in here with the battery. All the standards, cutting the trays out. I don't even have to go over that. If you're at this point to where your standard build video, you got to cut the trays to make room for the battery. You got to beat down the box to be able to fit in there. That's all standard. We should all know that. Moving from that to be able to fit stuff in here, trim the tops to be able to make room for the controller, slide it in there, do zip ties, and then you'll be good. The plastics to me look great. It still gives it that OEM aesthetic. Why did I do that? Because guess what? I can still charge my battery directly from here like it's from the factory. How was I able to do that? Electron & Co. Yet again, they dropped a kit that adapts from the battery on a splitter to the factory charge port that you can bolt this on here. And now I can just plug and play like I usually do. I come home, plug it in, boom, and then it charges like it is from the factory with my 72 volt. Moving next to my battery, talking about the 72 volt, I got a 72 volt 30 amp hour battery from Amazon. I'm probably going to upgrade to a better quality battery, probably from Hot Packs. I did that right now just because this is so expensive. I bought the bike brand new straight up, so for like $700. Most people that are doing these builds, they're buying secondhand Razor 650s, 500s. So if you buy a 650 for like $100, you're already on a budget. So the Amazon battery is great. If I want to upgrade it to be a little bit more professional, I'm going to go with Hot Packs. But if you're on a budget, just know that the 72 volt Amazon battery works great. I have no problems with it. And it's sealed in here in this little case to kind of protect everything else too. So we already know Electron & Co. kit for the power, 72 volt 30 amp for the battery. And moving up to the handlebars are just pit bike handlebars. Very simple, bro. You just type it in, pit bike handlebars, Amazon, and just pretty self-explanatory and pretty easy to bolt onto the triple tree clamp that I have here. All right, so the next thing that makes my bike a little bit more unique. Oh, the suspension. Sorry. Suspension here, very simple suspension. Nothing too unique. I didn't go with a really big suspension like other people have gone with. A lot of people have gone with suspension that is really long. So you don't want to do suspension that is too long. I don't have like the old one, but the old one is really small. It's like that big. There's not a lot of travel. It's like a 4-inch rear shock. So that means if this rear shock is only 4 inches, you can go to maybe a 6-inch shock. You can't go. Some people are putting like 8 to 10-inch shocks on the back. They're stretching the frame further than it was designed to. And now you get that weird unicycle look to where it pushes it down. And now it doesn't even look like a bike anymore because they think that's what gives you better seat height. That's not what gets you better seat height. Okay, you might get a little bit more suspension travel, but now it just starts looking goofy. So the regular OEM shock, absolutely dog water, but don't get too long of a shock. If you want to be cheap on Amazon, just get like a 6-inch shock, 5-inch shock, something really small that's made for the 650, and you'll be good to go. Ride great. I love it. I mean, I'm not hitting any crazy jumps, so I can't talk about that right now. But when my ankle does get better, I'll do a little bit of sending, I'll do some wheeling, and I'll see how that goes. But don't get a huge shock. That's when you get the unicycle effect, and it looks really ugly. Keep it within the range, about 5 or 6 inches. That should be enough travel with a quality gas shock, and then you're good to go. Just to touch base on that. And then next, what kind of separates mine from everybody else? I got a headlight and brake light kit here too, working, might I add, from Amazon as well. Amazon and eBay doing everything for this build besides Electronic Co. So the headlight kit, pretty simple if you give a crap about the headlight kit, if you want to do that, because I'm going to actually make this street legal as a low-powered scooter in Colorado. But what I did was I did e-bike headlight kit on Amazon, and I just had to make sure that one that did have a brake light, some of them don't actually have brake lights. They just have daytime running and turn signals. Make sure that it actually has a brake light. And that installation, kind of difficult. I might break that down in a separate video if anybody cares. And that basically is my MX650, explaining how I did things. Yeah, I think that's about it there. I got some rear view mirrors for cheap, and it rides great. But other than that, I'll go through and is there anything else that I missed? I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, no, no. Oh, plastics. Jesus Christ. I almost forgot about plastics. Sorry. This video is going for like a while without me really even like showing the bike like that. I'll take the camera and I'll put it down and I'll sit on the bike so you can see at least what it's like with me sitting on it. I got CRF 50 plastics. A lot of people do the CRF 50 mods. The plastics fit okay, but you have to, the seat, I upgraded the seat too. I got a CRF 50 XL seat, so it's a little bit wider, and that feels a lot more comfortable than the standard seat that comes on the Razor one. The reason why I did this one, it was super cheap. I got this off eBay. So CRF plastics, like 50 bucks, CRF graphics, like 40 bucks, and the CRF 50 XL seat, I think it was like 40 bucks, 50 bucks as comparison to the Electron & Co. seat upgrade that was like, I think it was like 100 bucks or something like that. And that quality might be better, but 50 bucks, I mean like 40 bucks to 100 bucks. I was like, I'll just get this seat. And these graphics do the trick for now. If you do CRF 50 and you do want to do graphics instead of the ugly, just regular ones, just make sure you match the years up with your CRF 50 plastics. My CRF 50 graphics kit, I don't think it matched the year of my CRF plastics, so the rear was kind of janky to get on. That's why it looks like the way it does. There's a couple things I got to clean up, but that's about it for the plastics to give you more of an adult look versus the small plastics on your Razor Mx650 plastics. But if you don't care about the plastics, great. If you do want to upgrade your plastics too, on eBay, they sell crazy plastics. Let me go grab these plastics real quick as I hobble over here. I got a Rockstar plastic kit that actually looks pretty cool. So I'm not going to use these anymore, but these, you can find these on eBay. They have a whole bunch of MX650 graphics kit on eBay. Just type that in and you can get like holographic stuff, really cool stuff to make your MX650 stand out from the crowd if you want to do that, if you don't care about the CRF 50 plastics. So let me take this off the stand real quick. Sorry, I'm not really doing too much because of my ankle, you know. I'm kind of doing the best I can. Just started walking about like 2 weeks ago, so let's go ahead and back this up here. Ugh. Okay, so this is what it looks like with me sitting on it, and this is about the travel that you would get here for your knees. As you can see, it lines up pretty well right here are the plastics where it's not sitting too high. So this drop gives you about a 2-inch drop. So that 2-inch drop should feel a lot better for more adults while you're riding. So that's how that would look. And then as far as like an odometer for speed to see how fast I'm going, everybody just uses the Plus odometer on the side. So I got my Plus right there that can tell you how fast you're going with GPS, which is really cheap. Let me just show you the controls real quick. It's turning into a 20-minute video. Jesus, I was supposed to get in and out of here in 10 minutes. Dude, I failed so far. Jesus. All right. Okay, anyways, so let me break this down real quick, show you the controls. All right, so I got my turn signals here. I got my horn. I got my Plus, my rear view mirrors, which is great. I got my 3 modes here. Turn it on. I think I'm at like 73 volts. And the horn works. See, everything works. So, my turn signal there. You see it turns on. And we go underneath here. Got our turn signals. So very clean when it comes to being able to ride to make it feel more professional. And also shout out to Raw Stunts. We got the raw as fuck key tag. And that's about that there. So just explaining my bike, doing a little bit more of a close-up here so you can see it. Oh, crap. I almost forgot. Jesus Christ. In order to run the sprocket in the rear, if you do go with an Electron and Co kit, you do need the RTR rear sprocket. So the RTR rear sprocket does bolt onto standard pit bike tires. So if you do want to run a 14 rear, 12, whatever standard pit bike, you do need the RTR sprocket. I almost spaced that without actually like going back here. So the regular sprocket does not fit on it because it's made for an MX650 rear. Remember RTR rear sprockets. That's how you can run it. The ultralight, the 14, the one that's made for 14s, I think it's the 81 tooth, and then the standard all work just fine for your EC4P. So that's that there. There's my front, and that's what it looks like on the front with my little Electron and Co sticker with my number plate and my headlight on there too with my brakes. Front rear, yeah. So that's that, bro. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know the video quality is not going to be the best because I'm too lazy, bro. I'm just going to throw this on YouTube. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. I'll drop the links. And I hope to see some better looking MX650s out there that look a little bit more like, I don't know, bro, just straight up like pit bikes. Like, to me, this looks sexy. Like, if I saw this on the road, I would never think that this used to be like a children's bike from the factory with the little tires. So anyways, I'm out, y'all. Peace.